What is going on, Buckeye Nation? Welcome back to the channel. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. When the season does roll back around, I'm going to be doing live play-by-play and reactions to the game. I'm also going to be keeping you guys updated on all the latest news. So if you're a big Ohio State fan, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So the news broke 2 days ago. I know I'm a little late. I had some stuff I had to do, but I just wanted to give my opinions on the subject. Justin Fields has been ruled eligible for the 2019 season. This is obviously huge news for Justin and the Ohio State program. I was a little surprised how quick this whole process played out. He announced on January 4th he'd be transferring from Georgia to Ohio State, and then Friday, February 8th, the ruling came down that he is eligible for 2019. So just a couple days over a month, and the process is all done and over with. Now we know we have him going into spring ball, so that's obviously very good. I was not surprised of the outcome. I knew he was going to get approved, especially when he hired Tom Mars, basically the best lawyer for getting kids waivers to become instantly eligible. His latest case was last year with Shea Patterson, Michigan quarterback. He got him instant eligibility, so I know Michigan fans were loving Tom Mars last year, but they're hating him this year. The other reason I knew he would get approved is because it was a racial issue. Fields, being a two-star athlete, also played baseball at Georgia, and one of the baseball players yelled a couple racial slurs at him. The kid eventually got kicked off the team, but obviously that didn't matter because Justin used that as his reason for transferring to Ohio State, and it worked. We just knew the NCAA was not going to want to get in a battle with him and his lawyer about a racial issue. I know a lot of people are upset about this, but at the end of the day, the NCAA does not want to get in a battle over a racial issue. That just would not be good PR for the NCAA, so they made the right decision. Now we're going to have to wait and see how this affects Tate Martell, the old Ohio State quarterback who transferred to Miami basically the day that Justin Fields announced he would be transferring to Ohio State. I assume that the NCAA will now approve Tate Martell. A lot of people think he's going to have to sit out a year, but I just think the NCAA doesn't want to deal with the look of approving Justin Fields and then not approving Tate. We will see. I don't really love Tate's case. He is using the coaching change at Ohio State from Urban Meyer to Ryan Day as his reason for transferring, when we all obviously know that's not the reason. Now, you kind of know the same thing with Justin Fields. He left because he wasn't going to start over Jake Fromm, right? But the difference is Justin didn't say all the things that Tate said on Twitter. Tate said to Justin Fields, basically, don't swing and miss, especially not a second time. He said he was going to be the starter in 2019, no matter who Ohio State brought in. And he also talked very highly about his teammates, the Ohio State program, and Ryan Day, just days before he announced he was going to transfer. So at the end of the day, I don't love his case, but I do hope that he gets approved, and I hope he gets to suit up for Miami in 2019, because it sucks for a kid to wait out a year. You know, that's a year of his career that he's not getting all that experience. He's already sat 2 years at Ohio State, so it would be unfortunate for him to have to sit a year, but we're just going to have to wait and see. While Justin Fields is a generational talent, there's no doubt about that. This kid is as talented as they come. I think Buckeye Nation should take a wait-and-see approach with this. As talented as he is, he's not exactly proven on this level yet. He was a backup to Jake Fromm for 1 year at Georgia. He did play 12 of 13 games, but basically in garbage time, he completed 27 of 39 passes for 328 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also rushed for 266 yards and 4 more touchdowns. So he played very well in his mop-up duty, but it's hard to judge a player off that limited snaps. Kind of the same thing with Tate Martell last year, who also played good in limited time, but we're going to have to wait and see. Justin said that Ryan Day did not promise him the starting quarterback job, so that was kind of interesting to hear. We all figured Ryan Day did. Maybe he did, and Justin's just not saying it, being respectful to Matthew Baldwin and the other quarterback in the quarterback room. And Ryan Day said yesterday that we're going to have a real quarterback competition come spring. I know a lot of people are overlooking Matthew Baldwin, but everything I'm hearing about Matthew Baldwin is this kid is legit, 6'3", 205. He can make all the throws. He was a 4-star prospect himself. So this is going to be interesting. I expect Justin Fields to win the competition, but let's all give Matthew Baldwin his fair shot and let the best man win. If Fields does win the job, he is going to help Ohio State in a lot of different ways on this offensive side of the ball. But to me, mainly the rushing attack. Ohio State was not that great running the ball last year, averaging under 200 yards per game for the first time in the Urban Meyer era. The reason for that is the years before we had J.T. Barrett and we had Braxton Miller, both huge threats to run with the football, but Dwayne Haskins was not that threat running. He did not run the ball. he was a passer, probably the best passer in Ohio State history, but defenses did not have to worry about Dwayne running the ball, so they could key in on the running backs on run plays. And with Justin Fields, they're not going to be able to do that. Justin is a mixture of Braxton Miller mixed with Dwayne Haskins. He's not as fast as Braxton or maybe quite the arm that Dwayne has, but he's somewhere in the middle of both. He's got 4.5 speed, and he can make all the throws. He's a big-time passer. So we're really going to get the best of both worlds with Justin Fields. If you look at J.K. Dobbins, as a freshman, he averaged 7.6 yards per carry. And then as a sophomore, he averaged 4.6 yards per carry. The reason for that is the quarterback having that threat to run. When he was with JT, JK averaged at 7.6, and then with Haskins, just 4.6. It's no coincidence that's the reasons why J.K. Dobbins' production dropped off. So I expect everybody in that running back room to have a big season next year, mainly J.K. Dobbins, who is finally going to be the workhorse this year with Mike Weber gone. Now, I do expect Demario McCall to get a lot of snaps too, especially because he's sat the last couple of years. Demario McCall is a very good player. He is a big play waiting to happen, but we've had some really good running backs there in the last couple of years ahead of him, so I'm very excited for Demario McCall to finally get his chance this upcoming year. I think Ohio State is right back in the national title picture. I know they were last year too, but I think they're going to run the table this year. When you look at their schedule, it's pretty soft. I'm not going to go over all of them, but really looking at it, Penn State, Michigan, the only tough games I see. Maybe Cincinnati week 2 might be a trap game at home. But I think Ohio State runs the table and goes undefeated next year. I think they need to go undefeated because we know how much the College Football Committee hates Ohio State. So going undefeated next year, in my opinion, is a must. A lot of people are talking about all the players we lost this year to the NFL draft. To me, it's not a big deal. We lose great players every year. This year is no different, but we didn't lose quite as many this year. People are freaking out over us being the 15th rated recruiting class. That's because we had so many guys coming back. If you look at the average rating per recruit, we were 3rd. So that, to me, we still have the 3rd best recruiting class as far as who's got the best talent. We lost leaders like Paris Campbell and Terry McLaurin, Mike Weber, Dwayne Haskins, but they're all going to be replaced, and Fields is going to have plenty of awesome offensive weapons to work with next year. J.K. Dobbins, Demario McCall, Master Teague, Marcus Crowley, and Steer Chambers at running back. And at wide receiver, Austin Mack, Ben Victor, Chris Olave, who really had a burst-out season last year, 5-star Garrett Wilson. I think he's going to have a big role on this team next year. I know usually the young freshmen don't play on an Urban Meyer team, but I think Ryan Day is going to be a little bit different. I think he's going to play the most talented players, so I expect Garrett Wilson to play a big role on this team next year, maybe even be one of the top 2 or 3 productive receivers. The O-line is kind of a question mark for Ohio State. We got highly rated players stepping in, but we are losing a few starters, so we're going to have to look at the offensive line next year and see what they can do. And on the defensive side for Ohio State next year, I think it's going to be huge improvements. Getting rid of Greg Schiano was a must. We got 2 Michigan guys in Al Washington and Greg Madison coming in, 2 great defensive coaches. They're not going to have the linebackers on the line next year. So I expect guys like Malik Harris and Tuff Borland, Pete Warner, and Baron Browning to have much improved seasons next year. And then the defensive line should be the best in the nation with Chase Young, Davon Hamilton, Robert Landers, Jonathan Cooper, Zach Harrison, Tyreek Smith, Tommy Togiai, Jason Cornell, and Tyler Friday. That D-line is just absolutely stacked. And then I love our secondary next year. Okuda's back, Sean Wade, Jordan Fuller returning for another year trying to improve his draft stock, and Brendan White, Isaiah Pryor, Jason Wint. So Ohio State is loaded on both sides of the ball. The only other question mark might be so many new coaches with Washington, Madison, Jeff Hafley coming from Oklahoma State, and then, of course, Ryan Day taking over for Urban Meyer. So coaches might take a little bit time to gel. Ohio State might look a little sloppy in the first couple games, but I think they're going to figure it out, and I think this offense and defense are going to be very explosive next year. They were the number 2 offense in the nation last year, but they were missing that explosive run game. I think they're going to get it back next year. So Fields' statement to Buckeye Nation, he said, "Thank you for your warm welcome. I will work hard to represent you and Ohio State University in a respectful, professional manner. My dad always tells me you can't get to where you want to go by looking in the rearview mirror. I'm ready to move forward and embrace the next season of my life." So he is ready to get to work, start playing for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I know I speak for most Ohio State fans. We are very happy to have him. Great player, seems like a great kid. So I'm really looking forward to 2019. Ohio State going to take back their rightful place in the college football playoff. I will put his full statement in the description. I'm going to put his statement to Georgia football in the description. I'm going to put a couple articles in there about Justin Fields being ruled eligible in the description as well. Leave me a prediction for the 2019 for Ohio State. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I will catch y'all later, and go Buckeyes.